Hey guys, it's Kelsey with the Children's Museum, and we're here today with True Thursday, and we invited Maria Cunningham of Market 9 to tell us a little bit about how to maximize your grocery dollars during this pandemic and how to minimize your grocery trips, and then also how to keep the holidays special with your family this weekend. So thanks for joining us, Maria.
Thank you for having me.
And tell our families kind of different ways. I think this is kind of trying to invent a new normal, but what are different ways we could freshen up our menu at home? I know we're trying to feed multiple people every day, most families are, and with limited options right now at the grocery store. So, what are some ways we can use to improvise if we can't find the meat that we usually get, or we want to make a trip to last for 2 to 3 weeks at a time?
So I every time I go to the grocery, I see that the canned food is empty, which kind of shocks me because those are probably the least nutritious foods that you can purchase. Yes, they're vegetables, but unfortunately they've been cooked down and they've lost a lot of nutrition, especially once you heat them back up again. So those aren't your best options to have a healthy option for things like protein. Um, if I'm looking at where I can really get the most bang for my buck, that would be like dried beans. They last forever, equal to what you would have with a canned food. Yes, you would be required to cook them, but they're amazing. Take very little working. You can basically throw them in some water. Sometimes some beans require that you soak them overnight. They're great in a crock pot. You add some seasonings, you can add stock, or you can just do water, and then you can put them in and let them cook. They're not a complicated thing to do, and they can be used in so many different things. For instance, just about any bean can go into a veggie burger. You could make a veggie taco option just by sort of making that patty-like substance with beans and in a filler, and chop that up and put that in a taco. Other things like lentils, those come dried as well. There are even options out there for things that are already pre-cooked. They have those pre-cooked in bags. And if that's something that you prefer, that's amazing. I've seen in the freezer section, quinoa. They have it frozen. It's also a dried product. And those things are long lasting. They're super filling. Quinoa and lentils and beans would be along that line of quote unquote superfood, and offer a huge amount of nutrition, and would be an absolute great replacement for meat. Lentils, eggs are always a good option to fill in for protein. And eggs are so versatile. You can use them in anything.
So I think right now too, yeah, we're especially trying to find new recipes, and we may not have thought about having the time to look at the grains or think a lot of it, but now we have extra time at home to really look for those and to cook them. So, and it's a good way to kind of teach your kids. I know we talked last week with the local educators too about taking this time to teach life skills, and I think cooking is a huge life skill that so many people don't know.
Absolutely.
We have the time to really teach anyone. And this is a great time, I think, for all families to start teaching those basic skills of cooking and getting kids into the kitchen. So you do bowls at your restaurant currently. So if I was at home trying to recreate my own bowl with limited options, what are some things that you would put into a bowl that you think kids would enjoy as well?
I was just talking about quinoa. Quinoa or rice are both good options as far as they're kid friendly. You flavor them the way that they take on whatever flavor, that you give them, and so they're a really good option for your base. You can do things like farro. Lentils are great with that as well. And even tofu. We don't have tofu on the menu, but when we come out with our new menu, we will. But then I love sweet potatoes. We use sweet potatoes a lot. Sweet potatoes last a long time. They're typically readily available. They will last, just out like in a, semi-dark place, 4 months, and they're fine. And kids, I think, tend to like a sweet potato just because it has that little bit of sweetness. And you can, cut them up, throw them on a cookie sheet with a little oil and salt and pepper. I love chickpeas. We sometimes buy canned chickpeas at home, just to have a quick option. We even do love canned beans. I don't think that there's anything terribly wrong with all canned things, but sometimes if you're not acquainted with that more, I guess, intensive cooking, then start with that kind of thing and kind of get to know what you like, because I think that we assume a lot that we don't like something automatically because we're just not familiar. But this is a good time to really start exploring and like expanding your taste for different kinds of foods. And then, I'm a big proponent of spices. Spices are a good way to adapt and change things without additional calories. And you can really discover like a combination of herbs and seasonings that you like. And you can basically put that together with anything. Like if you're a lover of Mexican food, cumin, chilies, those are all things that are always found. Coriander, always found in Mexican style food. Indian food, if you like that sort of flavor profile, you have curry, turmeric, paprika, so if you find something that you like and you can add all of those things in with one of those grains, and then maybe another protein option like beans, and then maybe just some greens. We use kale a lot. I read a meme once that said kale must have had a publicist. But I love kale. It's hearty. It lasts a long time in the refrigerator, and it's full of good nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
And I really do love spinach. And believe it or not, spinach is packed full of protein. So any of those things can be mixed into a bowl, and they're a super satisfying meal. And you could make those things ahead of time and sort of have those prepped in your refrigerator for easy lunches. Because I know that I've had several moms tell me, my goodness, I feel like I've cooked, an entire year's meals in the last month. And I'm sure that it feels that way because it is complicated. We're not used to this way of living. So what we're doing now is just making these adjustments and learning together, how to make those adaptations.
Right. And I think too, it's like, when we could go out and about, you kind of take for granted when you got something to the drive-through or whatever, and you weren't in your kitchen every day. But right now you're doing 3 meals and snacks. And I know, like, I have several friends that are like, I put notes on the fridge. You can only open the door at 9 and 2 because it's like they're eating everything right now. So I think trying to get them healthy options, because, during any other time we would be at school or work full time, who wouldn't have this opportunity to take to really dive into nutrition. And I think smoothies are something you talked about. We're going to come maybe in the summer when things kind of open back up too, would be a great option for kids too, because they don't really see it when it's all blended up, and you can get those spinach and your veggies in there and add in some frozen fruit and really get those nutrients.
Yes, absolutely. I always at home, we make smoothie packs. So I never throw greens away. I always keep them. Even like I buy the mixed lettuce, and there's a power mix out there that has like baby kale and spinach, and like Swiss chard sometimes. And I basically set up fruit packs. And, if we have any sort of fruit that we're not, going to finish in time, or we won't use fast enough, we throw them in the smoothie packs. We have several of those kind of set up in the freezer at all times.
Mhm.
And we just add those things as we go to those packs, and we hold on to them, for when it's necessary. We do always have a plant-based protein at our house, and that's not necessary, but we do keep that. I just have teenage boys, and sometimes they think that that's going to help them with the workout.
Mhm.
And I'm okay. And I love that too. But then you add some sort of non-dairy or dairy in there to liquefy things. You can do juice in there as well, but you just that's a great way of creating something and allowing a child to kind of make their own, smoothie. It's a fun thing to do, and they can customize it.
Mhm.
And that's not always often like accessible. We typically are so busy. I can't imagine ever not being this slowed down. I guess for most people, this probably it will never happen again.
Right.
But a really good opportunity to introduce to your kids, like I said, to things that they haven't experienced before. I also like nut butters, seeds, and nuts in smoothies. That's a really good way to not add a ton of flavor, but a ton of additional nutrition. Um, and I think a smoothie bowl is amazing. Something that they can, have some sliced banana, and even like a nut butter on top, or, something like that. Um, to make it kind of, again, customizable, but almost like artistic.
Mhm.
And kids love that kind of thing. So I think that those things are a really good opportunity for families right now.
And like you said about the freezer packs, I know a lot of times you don't have that extra time during your week to plan and freeze those meals. So this would be a good time to have those kids kind of work together. So you have meals when we do get back to normal. You can just pop those in your oven or on your stove or whatever. So get those kind of prepped now, ready for the future. Um, Talk a little bit about, you still are open for meal prep. So you do offer dinners to go during the week, which is great because everyone should take advantage at least one night so you don't have to cook, even if the adults just want to buy the meal. And they do already come with a meat, greens, so they have all those components, right?
Sure. A meat, or starch, or excuse me, a protein, a starch, and a vegetable.
Right. Just,
And we do have some vegetarian options. We always have a couple bowls on there, and a couple salads. So for those who are plant-based, we still want those things because that's a major component of our business, and why we're here. So we always have those things as an option too. We use clean, whole, and the best ingredients we can possibly find. We source as local as possible, and we use non-GMO and or organic ingredients. So everything that you purchase from us will be clean, and healthy for you to eat. We don't overwork anything. Um, our philosophy is, if you start with amazing ingredients, you don't need to do a lot to it for it to taste amazing. And so we kind of stay with that philosophy, and we hold on to that with what we do here, and that's the same with our meal prep. Dinners are $15 a portion, and it's fully cooked. Comes in a container that you can reheat. It's a perfect option for those frontline folks who still are working, and do not have time still to cook. And it's a great option, like you said, for families who maybe are at home, but they're just getting kind of overwhelmed with eating the same thing maybe, or just kind of over like the cooking, incessantly. So we definitely urge you to try that out, and it's a good way to introduce your family into something different because our food is a little different than what you would typically purchase locally. But you can always find that information on our Facebook page or our Instagram. We upload our menus there. Or you can call the shop and we can send you something over via email. We are planning on changing the way you access and send over orders. Hopefully first of next week, we'll send out an email and we'll go more email based as opposed to like the text that we've been doing so far. But if you want to get on that list, please send us your email. You can contact us at the market at Schlegels, SCHLEGELS @gmail, and we'll happily get some information to you.
Yeah, I think this is especially great, even like I said, for parents that want just like a date night at home on the weekend that don't want to have to cook and clean for the millionth time. I think, you know, even we don't have kids, but just us at home constantly. I'm like, we feel like we get up, we cook, we clean, we cook, we clean. So I think it's great to have a break, even just for like one night. You can look forward to not having to do that. So all of these are great ideas for our families. And we do have something else to kind of share with everyone. We know that Easter is quickly approaching and it's going to look a lot different than it has in many years past. You know, you won't be gathering with extended family this year and you're probably going to be in your home, but that doesn't mean you still can't make it special and create a new tradition or a memory that your kids will never forget. So kind of discuss what you're working on and what we can show our listeners about their tables.
So for me, I love entertaining. It is by far the thing that makes me the happiest. And so I'm huge on a fun tablescape. And I always sort of decorate when when we're having dinner as a family. I've always sort of decorated the table, and I always do that for every holiday. We used to have a kids table where our boys are now teenagers, but now we have grandchildren. So we're back to doing a kids table. And I've always loved that. So we are going to do a contest for a kids table and for an adult Easter dinner table. This is just, again, one of those things that you can do together as a family. You know, during a very strange time where things are very different, you know, and it's for little minds, this would be very complicated to understand when they've lived a life one way and suddenly, you know, life has changed drastically. And anything that you can include them in and make it fun, I believe is so beneficial for them, for their mental health, and even for you. There's nothing like something being beautiful to make you feel better. So we will post a photo today of our kids table and tomorrow of our adult table, or family table, I guess I should say. And then we are going to have a contest. We made a baking kit, and it's the Carrot Patch baking kit. And whoever is our winner for the prettiest kids table, you'll win a kids baking kit. It's a 6-pack cupcake and 6 cookies that you come fully equipped for you to decorate yourself and to bake off your little mini cupcakes. And the adult table, we will have a gardening prize gift basket set up for that.
It's just a great way for you to still have an activity to do at home. And the table escape is also a great way to get everyone on board and kind of get creative. So I think a lot of this can be, this time we have now, we should take advantage of creativity and imagination for things where we're usually rushed. I know typically Easter weekends are very rushed and busy, and you're trying to cook and clean up and whatever to host your families. Well, now you can kind of sit back and take the time to really focus on that time together, what it's all about. So we also posted on the museum page quick ways to decorate eggs without the traditional box dye kit. So we got tons of feedback on that. I think that kind of got us into figuring out new ways to help you guys at home as well, using simple ingredients like rice and food coloring. So this can also be something you could put for display on your table for Sunday.
Absolutely. We did, and I think I failed to mention that we used the majority of our product that we already had. We always keep a few eggs from the year before, the little plastic eggs. We've kept those for years. I've had the same eggs for years, so we're reusing those things. And we've used things like coffee filters and eggshells for our table. So we think that you'll be really excited. We're really excited for you to see it. And I think that it's an exciting, fun way to do something interesting. And we'll post the dollar amount as well. And it's shocking how little we spent on doing our table and how fun it looks.
I think that's perfect too. You don't have to spend a ton of money, especially right now, to do something fun and creative. You just use those items that you have on hand, just reinvent them. So you could even dye rice and use that as a vase filler for spring. So just getting creative and using your kids as your inspiration, because I think we're going to look back in 10 years at this time and, you know, we're going to remember the hardships, but through a kid's eyes, I saw a post about how they're going to recall this was the best time of their life because we were all together, and they never get this time, and you will never get this time hopefully ever again. So really take advantage of that togetherness and spending time as a family and teaching them how to cook, how to set a table. And these are all skills that we are so rushed usually in the week that we forget how important they are. And I'm always shocked at how many kids don't know how to set a table or don't know how to boil water even and use a stove.
Sure.
So I think it's really important to kind of get these skills while we have this extra time at home.
Sure, absolutely.
Well, Maria, we will look forward to seeing your post, and we will put those pictures in the video as well this afternoon, so you guys can check those out with a few little DIY tips for you to get that table started. And then post your pictures. Is there a hashtag they should use? Happy Easter from Easter home.
I hadn't thought of that, Kelsey. Thanks. Maybe hashtag market Easter table. Let's do that.
We'll do that. So hashtag your photos with Market Easter Table, and the winners will receive the kids table, the baking kit, and the adults family table will receive that seed kit. So super fun giveaways, and these are activities that would keep you guys busy for the next week. So looking forward to that, and look through the video for pictures, and we can't wait to see your guys' inspirations.
Have a good day. Thank you so much for having us.
No problem. Oh gosh.
It's still recording.
Oh shoot. No, it's not, is it?
It says record. Maybe that's just me. Do I have to leave?